one of his former colleagues, I guess, because he used to be ex-SWAT, and then he moved on to being in the head of security for Seraph Industries, and this whole kind of backstory that goes on as well when you're talking to him about this an incident that happened with him, and the first time I talked to him, I couldn't convince him to let me in, so I just sneaked in the back, and the second time I'm in the middle of replaying it right now. I actually convinced him to let me in, and then
Yeah.
later on the game he confronts you again, and then it's a weird, it's kind of cool how that the things you say and you do, it kind of comes back at you later on, but not all the time. But that was like one instance I've stumbled upon in there.
Yeah, and actually, I got to tell you, this is one of the best games to ever utilize the concept of choice. Just because in the beginning of the game, um, I don't know if I want to. Okay, I'll try to be vague about this. It's a really, really cool thing where it's like somebody's telling me to go somewhere, or else some events will change. And I'm just like, oh yeah, they're just saying that to get the player to move along to continue the story.
Yeah.
But then when I got there, they said, oh my gosh, you waited too long. Now this event has happened. And so I had to respond to that event specifically, and I had all the guys around me going like, "Wow, thank you, way to go! You waited all this time, and we still, and because of you, this happened." And it's like, whoa, that is cool. And so from then on out, I realized that I had to be very careful with my choices, and I couldn't just go spelunking around for different items and just characters to talk to, just because I had to, manage my time and think of all the choices I had. And this game has so many different branching paths. Like for instance, there's not a casino. There's a club that you could go to called the Hive,
Hmm.
and you could either sneak in, you could, or you can find, somebody has a membership card, but that's in throughout the entire city, so that might take too long. So it just kind of balancing your options against what you want to do and what you need to do, and
Yeah.
it's just it is so immersive. I mean, and like so you're right, you are absolutely right, Blair, in the fact that some choices that you do that you take, they don't really have that big of a consequence. They're just like, okay, thank you, and then the characters leave and then they never come back. Some of them,
Hmm.
uh, one of the like during the second act, I helped out this one individual, and then he came back later, and I was like, oh, you're back here. I didn't think I thought you left by now or something. But it affects gameplay even. It affects the story a bit. And I really got to give props to Ubisoft Montreal for making this kind of really really deep system. I'm sure it wasn't easy to kind of coordinate all the different elements in there so that you can have all this choice and still have similar amounts of results coming in.
Right, right. And to correct you, CH is Eidos Montreal,
Oh, Eidos Montreal. I'm sorry.
just to save you from some from comments later on today.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. It just, I think Montreal and then Ubisoft was the first thing that popped into there. And, to be honest with you, I was also thinking about Ubisoft Montreal in a different sense, in that the gameplay is kind of like a combination between, the dialogue system is like LA Noire meets Mass Effect, but the gameplay is a combination between, I would say, like Splinter Cell Chaos Theory and Fallout 3, where
Hmm.
it's all about you have these you have these objectives, but you can go in these variety of different ways to complete it, and you have these different you can either go stealth, you can go in guns blazing with the assault, you can go in just like exploration wise, just try to get around the enemies as much as you can without being detected, and it's just so awesome to have so much choice.
Yeah, that's one of the things I really loved about the game. There's just so many different ways you can go about a certain mission, and I've heard a lot of comparisons to what you said. Like the one I've heard, I don't really agree on it too much. They say it's a combination of Fallout and Call of Duty, but in a
No.
way, no, I don't see it either. But I think I agree with you. It's a little of chaos theory and a little bit of conviction in terms of the cover system.
Yeah, yeah.
I
It
think it
just
has a pretty good cover system, and I sometimes end up taking cover on the wrong side, so I'm just literally facing an enemy, and then just like sometimes they're really good at detecting you, and other times they're just they don't even bother with even noticing you. Like I've told you before, I was like hacking some terminals. A guard saw me through a window, and he didn't bother shooting me because, like, you can argue that point of not the AI, just that the AI is programmed to. It's like, no, I don't want to shoot the window because it might come out. It's coming out of my pay. So why don't you shoot it so I can shoot back? That's how I see it.
It's, yeah, you could definitely trick the AI in that manner, but there are some pretty cool experiences that you can have just in this pretty much. And also just a one quick aside: do not play this game like Call of Duty. You are going to die so quickly because
Oh no.
you do not have a lot of ammo. Basically, it's like you have basically an attaché case of of your weapons and your ammo, and it's like a more realistic attaché case where you don't have like 200,000 bullets hanging around. Every bullet matters. Like when you have the sniper rifle, you better make every shot count, just because you will run out of that quick.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't had a lot of trouble finding ammo because I mostly knock out dudes or just kill them and just grab whatever they have. And I'm usually have a good number of ammo. I try not to waste it when I'm not on a mission, like just shooting random civilians if they're bothering me. But I try not to do that. But I didn't have too much trouble with the ammo system. A lot of people said that they couldn't that there was barely any ammo in the game, so you had a hard time in some certain instances when you didn't have any ammo. But they did a good job of laying out some ammo around, especially during boss fights. So that's
Yeah,
definitely a plus right there. So,
I mean,
uh,
I mean,
anything else
the
you want
ammo.
to say so we can
Oh
wrap up?
yeah, just that I think that the ammo situation was intentional, and that it was supposed to make you think, okay, how am I gonna go into this situation, and how am I gonna come out of it, and which path should I take? Should I be sneaky? Should I just go guns blazing? Do I want to save my bullets for later? Should I hack this over here? And it's just it's a very more thought provoking game than say a Halo or a BioShock or one of those other first person shooter games where you can just go in and then basically walk out with same amount of health, same amount of ammunition, and it's just also kind of bothersome to think about the boss fights just because they don't. I mean, they're fine. I don't have a huge problem with them, but I just don't think that they've been utilized to their fullest. I mean,
I
some
can
of them.
agree with you on that. They're not. I wouldn't say they're the most challenging of boss matches. It's just the thing that makes it frustrating. Is just that you take too much. You take so much damage easily, and the bosses don't take as much damage as you do. That's kind of the problem with that. But it doesn't detract from the game's
No,
gameplay with that. But there's once you figure out what you need to do and know their patterns, and then you're pretty good. So
yeah,
and
it's very old school in terms of you have to memorize and you have to think about what you're going to do ahead of time and make sure that nobody's looking when you're going over here and making sure that they're patrolling this area that you can't be seen, so you have to sneak through the ventilation system over here. Also, there's a bit of Metal Gear Solid thrown in here, just because it's a lot of sneaking around buildings and
yeah,
hiding bodies and
I see that too. There's a little bit of everything in some way in Deus Ex. There's so many different little aspects of games in that game, and just RPG elements and stealth. There's
yeah.
many aspects to it, which makes it a really good game and really uh, a really good replayability value added to that too. Just
Mhm.
to go about your different. I've done different things in the game that I haven't seen, and the different outcomes I haven't seen either. So those are very cool to go back on. And we haven't mentioned the upgrade system. You can also do some every 5,000 experience points, you get a new what they call a praxis point, and you can add it to a certain skill tree. As I think that would be a good way to describe it, and it gives
Mhm.
you a certain amount of just upgrade on a certain amount of whatever is available at the time. Like you can jump higher or see through walls. And also hacking a lot of stuff gets your experience points up, so you can easily almost get everything on there before the end of the game. So that's always good to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I gotta tell you that one of my most favorite moments of this game was upgrading the what was it, like the angel wings system, where it's like where you fall but you just kind of land very softly from.
That is one of the ones that is very useful at
Oh
times
yeah,
because you don't like having to walk back down all the way to the ground level of a if you're on top of a building. I'd rather just
yeah,
jump off of it, and I realized that he takes a lot of damage even if you just jump off like 5 feet, and then he
yeah.
takes damage and dies. It's like I gotta get that upgrade.
It's like, okay, it looks like he needs some, instead of like drinking so much beer and whiskey for this guy, like, how about drinking some milk? Because it's obvious that his, kneecaps are not that strong. Because it's like he jumps off of a box and he just bleeds to death. And just one of my favorite moments was just, using the angel wings to, gently fall to the ground. And I couldn't read what it said at the bottom right of the screen, but it basically, I pressed the right trigger because it went too fast for me to read it. So it said, hold R to stun enemies. So basically,
Hmm.
I was doing this in the middle of public. So,
Stunned everyone. Oh shit.
oh yeah, basically where it's like I knocked everybody the hell back and some
Oh, that's
cops
awesome.
too. And so it's just me sprinting throughout the city trying to avoid the cops and like going into buildings and weaving through the rooftops and just trying to get away. I died just because I was too stupid and I ran into a kind of a dead end. But that gave me a very invaluable lesson.
It's a cool feature, actually. I've tried to find ways to implement that, just like jumping off a building, and if there's enemies down there, I just try to knock everyone out. It's like I can never find a good opportunity to do that. So there's definitely a way to do it, but I just haven't found it yet. So
Hmm.
so overall, what would you give the game a rating? I don't know how we really do ratings here, but
Oh,
this is only our second audio review. So what I'd say we did do didn't we
well,
do two like
there's
ratings
only
for the last game we did? Like
yeah, we did several. I mean, I have my own rating system that the Spill crew probably
CH proof.
stole. Yeah, I know Corey. He was looking at my page. He's like, "Oh, that sounds like a good idea. I'll take it. No one's gonna believe him." Ha ha. Ha. But yeah, there's just one other thing that I have to say about the game is that
Okay.
it's a negative, and it's just that some of the voice acting is a little spotty. Like the guy who plays Adam Jensen, I don't really have a problem with him. His name is Elias Tufexis. I think it's a French name, but he plays the role as a mixture between Christian Bale and Keanu Reeves, where it's like,
Hmm.
oh, bro, we've got to go over there, man. We gotta go back to the future, man. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. He's got like this really gruff voice, but it's not ridiculous. Some people do have that kind of irritating voice, not just the black exploitation woman yelling at you, but I'd be like, yeah, shit. Yeah, I would love that. I would actually love that if she was the main character for the sequel, and just that her going around with that ridiculous voice and just causing all this type of trouble just because no one can actually believe that a woman can sound like that without being augmented. So it starts another war.
I think she's very suited for a deadly premonition. If she was in there, I wouldn't have thought of anything of the lightest.
Well, Swervy's making a prequel and a sequel to Deadly Premonition, so maybe she'll be in there. But
Well, that's what I hear. Yeah.
back to this game, I mean, for most of it, I had a good time. There were some loading issues because the load times are very long. You will have to. I mean, I already save the game to my hard drive just so that I can get the load times quicker, and it's still pretty
Yeah,
darn long.
that's the way to go. I've seen comparison videos of it, and the 360 is the way to go in terms of the loading screens. I think it's like 22 seconds, I believe, is the longest, but it's not too bad. It's only
It,
bad when you die a lot, so it's
yeah.
it's not it doesn't break the game a lot at all. So it's
No.
I gotta say I had a good time with it. It's very good narrative. I did not a lot of people write cyberpunk stories that much anymore, but this was good to actually play a game it's cyberpunkish. So if you're into that, and if you like Blade Runner, it's definitely worth checking out. So I gotta say you should buy it, and I get a 5 out of 5. It's one of the best games I've played so far this year.
Groovy, groovy. And
What do you give it?
I did not expect much from this game. I was not a big Deus Ex fan. I played the second one back on the Xbox, and that one just did not capture my interest. I mean, it wasn't until recently when I started to see that they were being more like BioShock in terms of their storytelling and just having this a kind of philosophical and theological identity crisis that you're going through. And it's a very well made game. It's a very I mean, it's a game where the gameplay and the story work hand in hand together really well. It takes a lot of risks, and most of its reward. I have to give it a buy. Definitely go get it. It is definitely worth your time, and it's just very, very cool to go through all the different types of choices you can, enjoy.
All right, very good. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed our review for Deus Ex Human Revolution. This is going to be one of many reviews
For
for.
yeah, it's for Deus Revolution. You got to call it the right name, Splinter.
Yeah, I'm working on getting a ringtone for the taking that sound from the game of that black chick, have it as a ringtone. See
It's
how
like
fast I get beat up.
shit. Oh, got a text message.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I could just go on and on about that woman just because I think that maybe I think it was probably Ken Levine from Irrational who's like, wait a minute, you're doing a game about the theological discussions of changing yourself as a human. You know what? Let me just he goes over there for 1 week and then programs this lady to talk to you. He's like, let's see how good the scores do when after you see my little character that you got in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know what would have even been better if it was just like one of those, black exploitation, bad black ass actors. It was just like, yo, man, what's up? How you doing? Hey, let's take them down together. We'll take down the man. And it's like, okay, I'm just gonna go over here now. So, see you later, man.
I don't have time for this.
I have to go with Ted, and we have to go return Genghis Khan.
I never asked for this. Getting too old for this shit.
Yeah, let's try to get Danny Glover for the sequel.
All right, then. Thanks, everyone. Hope you enjoyed our review. I'm Spooner47.
And I am CH Gorok.
Peace.
Good night, everybody.
Shit.
Shit.
Well, shit. If it ain't the captain himself. Mr. Seraph done fixed you up good, ain't